I think we are all here. It is indeed my pleasure to welcome you all to this first international conference on smart energy systems and fourth generation district heating. It's a long title. We are so lucky that we are 190 participants in this conference. It's quite overwhelming and more people than we expected, but we will do our best to handle it all. And you come from more than 25 different countries around the world, and we have on the program around 80 presentations. And this event here is organized by the 48 Center. And the 48 Center is a research center looking into the future of district heating, and also looking into how district heating align with the rest of the future energy system. And we have been, it's like a 6-year research center with a number of participants. It's financed by the Danish Innovationsfonden, and all the participating parties, that is more than 30 parties participating in this research center. We have been going on for 3.5 years, and we have 6 years altogether, so we are just a little over half the way in the center. The center is based on the basic assumption and the firm belief that district heating is here to stay, but district heating has to change. District heating is here to stay and will play an important part of the future. All the analysis we have made prior to the center when we established it, and also as part of the center, clearly document, as far as we see it, that the transformation in many countries towards sustainable energy systems, where we will consume much less fossil fuels or even be fossil free, go to 100% renewable energy. That transformation we can do much easier and better if we include district heating compared to if we do not. We can simply construct future energy systems with less pressure on wind turbines and biomass and so on if we include district heating as part of the solution compared to if we do not. So for that reason, we think district heating is here to stay and have a very important role to play in the future of energy systems in Denmark, in Europe, in all over. But also those future energy systems is changing and will look different from what they do now. So district heating also have to develop itself and change in order to meet the requirements of the future compared to the requirements of today. That's why we call it fourth generation, a new generation of district heating. That district heating has changed is not a new thing, because district heating have already gone through previous 3 generations and already changed a lot compared to how it was 100 years ago or 50 years ago or 20 years ago. And so changing is not new. But of course, it's interesting to see what will the new requirements be and how should district heating as a technology meet that. In the center, we have made this diagram sort of showing the 4 generation, the 3, the one we have now and the previous, and also the 4th generation that we are entering. And the basic thing here is that the temperature level will decrease, and we also expect the temperature level to decrease in the future and should decrease in order to raise the efficiency, as also shown here on the diagram. And basically, district heating will do what it has always done, that is to take some of the waste heat and utilize it for heating so that we can have a more efficient system and that we can decrease the pressure on the energy, primary energy. That is also what district heating will do in the future. But the sources will change. It will not so much be combined heat and power and fossil fuels, it'll be other sources in the future. That's why it's illustrated here on the fourth generation with a number of others and different sources, including how we can integrate wind and a lot of other things into the system. That is the change in the technology. That is the change we will have to prepare district heating for to play its role in the future, its important role in the future. In the 48 Research Center, we look both into the supply, how to heat houses that is much more insulated with lower temperature in a more efficient way, and also how to distribute the heat, but also what kind of production systems, where should the district heating come from in the future, and how should it interact with the rest of the system, and also, very important, how should we organize it, what should the tariffs be, who should own it, and how should the money flow and the investment and all this sort of things, and the regulation and the planning from the authority be. That's the third issue we also include in the center. Of course, one of the really important thing in this is to see how district heating fit into the future systems, and also how it can play its role there. That's why we have combined the title here with smart energy systems, because smart energy systems is how we view the future to be, and how the future could best be if we want the best and the cheapest solution to go to 100% renewable energy or sustainable energy systems. I'll just make a small commercial here for a video we have made on smart energy systems that sort of describe all this. You can go to YouTube and test in, and then you can find this video if you have not already seen it. But I will just highlight some of the important points here. And smart energy system is all about being cross-sectoral. We don't believe if we take it sector by sector, for example, only look into and only look at the electricity sector, then we cannot find the best and the cheapest solution. It's when we combine the electricity with the heating and the cooling and the transport and the gas and industry and so on, this is where we can find the best and the cheapest solution to go to 100% renewable energy or sustainable energy system in the future. And there are many reasons for this. I'll just highlight one very, very important reason why this is the case. And this is sort of illustrated in this diagram here. Here I compare the cost that is just the pure investment cost of building electricity storage compared to a thermal storage and a gas storage and a liquid fuel storage. And it doesn't matter if it's a battery or it's a pumped hydro or whatever. The order of magnitude is that an electricity storage, the price, the investment cost of that is 100 times bigger than a thermal storage. That is again bigger than a liquid fuel or gas storage. And this is really a huge order of magnitude. And this is why when we have a lot of wind power, a lot of energy, if we can somehow store it in liquid fuels or thermal storage, it's much more realistic. That's not the only point. The other point is also, as illustrated here, if we compare the cost per unit, per energy unit of storage in a single house, and this is a heat exchanger from my own house, just got it with 150 liters in it, compared to joint district heating storage and also one of the very new seasonal storage of solar thermal being built. Again, it's a factor, at least 100, maybe even 1,000 cost factor between storing heat in each individual house compared to doing it together in a district heating system. Putting this together really highlight how important it is and how much more cheaper and more realistic we can do it if we somehow can coordinate the electricity and the wind with the heat and the cooling and the transport and so on, and then end up by this coordination storing large amounts of wind energy in joint collective thermal storage compared to individual storage or electricity storage. And this is what we can achieve by the smart energy approach. As part of this program and together with Euroheat and Power, we have for several years conducted some heat roadmap Europe studies where we have calculated this for Europe and show how Europe could benefit from district heating, lower the fuel consumption, and also lowering the cost at the same time, and at the same time pave the way for integrating renewable energy also in the electricity sector much better. The recent step in this is the Stratego project that is going into individual countries, here 5 different countries in Europe, and also pinpointing this out. So this is where we can take all the tools and methodologies that we develop and make them into concrete analysis and strategies on how to save fuel in Europe, and also do it in a way so it will fit into the future energy systems of Europe. I will soon stop. I will just say something a little bit practical here, because you have all got the book of abstracts, and we have chosen to do it in the old-fashioned way, so you got a book instead of a USB or something like that, so you have a real book in your hand. Personally, I like that very much. So then you can see all the abstracts and also the program and so on. And then we have chosen not to have papers. So there's not a papers or anything like that. We go directly to publishing 2 special issues. So the presentations here have been invited to submit papers to 2 special issues of the journals, 2 journals listed here. And in order to then have the papers ready as soon as possible and as good as possible, and they are already open for submission, and some have already submitted the paper, which is very good. But I have a urge to all the presenters writing this paper, 2 things, please. One thing is read carefully the guideline of that specific journal you're submitting to, so you're sure that you meet all the requirements. This will really help us in the work process and in the workflow, that we don't have to stop because of that. And another thing is, please relate your research as good as you can to the topic of this conference, smart energy systems and 4th generation district heating. This will really help the guest editors in putting all the papers into a special issue that is also easy to describe how it aligned with the same topic. I said all this, and I think we have a very interesting program ahead of us, and I will not keep you waiting any longer. I will just say thank you to all of you for coming here, and I hope you will have some very, very good days. Welcome.